Oh, greetings, my fellow divine co-creative celestial beings of the now. Welcome to Planet Collingwood here on Studio A Revolution Radio. A big thank you to Why Not and the crew for the wire files for the last 2 hours. If you enjoyed the last 2 hours, please go to freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio and donate what you can. We're 100% listener supported, 100% volunteer, and just 100% because rule of three. Tonight's sponsors for this wonderful show at Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. Q-Healing at q-heal.com. Quantum healing hypnosis technique in Sydney and Melbourne. I think Melbourne's probably the go at the moment because Sydney's turning into Nazi Germany. But we'll get to that later. So just get onto q-heal.com and let Paul do a session with you. He's a lovely chap. And it was fun. And I'm not telling you anything I want because it's for me. As Morpheus says to Neo, whatever was for you. And also, as always, SJ's Ninja Dojo for Squirrels. Let your fur babies learn the way of the squinger. SJ Ninja Dojo for Squirrels. Let your rodent defend you. Now I can close that off. So, yes, I've written that down because my memory's metal dish with holes in it. A calendar. Yeah, it's like a calendar. And if you'd like to join Planet College, just send me a message on the old Skypey-wipey and I'll add you to the call. And I'll preface that with, it's a comedy show, so you have to be funny, and that's funny, haha, not funny strange. However, I've got 2 guests already. One is funny and the other one is strange. You decide. Cortek, are you there, my friend?
Yes.
Oh,
I like
good.
to think of myself a little bit ambidextrous, a little bit half strange, half funny.
Yeah, it's either, I play the duality to create triality or a singularity. We'll figure it out. And, of course, our Tolkien representative from Boston, the mighty Brandon Young. And, Brandon, before you say hello, are you aware that there is now an official air date for the Lord of the Rings Amazon TV show?
I am indeed aware, and hello everybody.
Hey.
And I consider myself funny fluid. So.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Did I assume your humor?
I offended. I am extremely offended.
Use that.
Me and Lamb are gonna go out and master the universe. Anyway, yes, I have seen them. The image is incredible. First of all, they released an image.
That's just that still of the elf city in the background or something.
That's not. Well, it's not the elf city. It's partly elves in there. That's the god city. It's Valinor, and then in the way back you can see the 2 trees of Valinor. In the way back you can see the white, kind of where the sun is coming in. You take a really good look where the river goes. You can see the white tree and the black tree, and they look like nuclear bombs. But anyway, I've studied it in detail. It's Tyrion. It looks like it's Tyrion upon Tuna, the city of Tyrion, that is, which is in the middle of Valinor. And then there's a figure in white looking upon the city, which is pretty amazing. So, I'm hyped up for it, for sure.
Yeah, hopefully it's not woke and, and they ruin it and have sex scenes and basically just virtue signal grandstandings like, orcs, orcs lives matter, everyone, Thursday.
Some trans orcs running with dresses.
Yeah, so, but from what I've seen as well, it's basically, at least you can watch it on mute and still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Looks like sort of like The Last Jedi. Yeah, The Last Jedi looks gorgeous. Sounds terrible from the story, but it's like, wow. Except for when the space lasers arc like a cannonball. It's like, oh, there's gravity in space. That's fascinating.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that you can apparently, if you're Princess Leia come back from the dead in space, then you can fly through space.
I heard Mary Poppins moment. Yeah,
everything's possible in space.
Yeah, right. A spoonful of sugar makes the force get down.
Pretty Branson and Bezos never actually got there. Oh, tough luck you don't get your astronaut wings. Branson's been spamming channels like a late night shopping channel doctor or something. Well, there's been a few people doing that, but he's, did you see me go up in a rocket? How would you like to win the chance to, oh my God, is that what you've been reduced to?
Yeah, because like I mean, all the money in the world doesn't bring happiness. Well, not for him.
Doesn't get you out of the stratosphere by the looks of it.
But there was a positive moment when Bezos was in a low orbit of Earth for 10 minutes. Half of Amazon went to a toilet break, so that was good. So the employees, so like, oh, he's not on the planet. Quick, take a piss.
Take an extra 30 seconds before we get whipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really weird. Obviously, we'll get to how New South Wales is.
In COVID corner. Are we there yet? Not quite yet. Oh,
no, not yet. What's the telly, my good friend there?
What's the what?
Week. What week we're up to?
Oh, it's week 72 of 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Need to get some kind of barbershop quartet in there for something like that.
It's week 72.
Yeah. Terrible. And you guys never rap.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah, I'm just like 72. Like I know that number is like it's almost like Islam. If you take the religious jab for the holy war, you'll get 72 weeks of lockdown.
I forgot that you guys had already released your rap albums and had too much world international acclaim. So
success, too much success. You said
exactly. Yeah,
too much success.
Public energy went through the roof, yo.
At some point, you just got to say, look, this used to be about the music, and just strip it all back, give the money to charity.
Yeah, but
it's good to change our names, and and we did go through the roof, but like literally, like we really went through the roof, and that's how our drummer passed away. But
yeah, and it was a drum machine at the time. Yeah, our drummer, who was AI, actually died.
It was a Dalek. Yeah,
it was only his battery, though. It was only his battery.
Right, we took it back to the factory. And
everybody scream.
Yeah, they're really good. It did the double barrel drum roll and everything like that. But it was weird for a rap group. People said to have a drummer anyway. So
not really good. The good ones do have drummers, but I just like the idea of our drum machine's a Dalek, which is technically a cyborg. And all the ladies in the house say yeah.
Yes.
Everyone scream, exterminate, exterminate.
Yeah.
Your Dalek seemed very kind of frantic at the end. It was excellent.
You've
done that before.
I've got 99 problems, and the doctor is all of them. Yeah. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Davos.
And what I like, and we had 2 Cybermen dancers. They're very good.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Like the Public Enemy dancers.
Yeah, well, with Public Energy
or whatever.
Yeah. That was their cyborg. Yeah, and we had Borg as well. We had Cybermen and Borg because we don't discriminate here.
Yeah, what a combo.
I was more.
Borg doesn't dance, so Borg just kind of hovers there in the background or something. You're talking about the giant head, yeah?
No. Borg from Star Trek.
Star Wars. Star Trek. Yeah.
Star Wars. This is why we broke up, Brandon.
Excuse me.
We broke up. Through the roof.
Went through. Yeah. We didn't. See, I knew something was wrong with the latest era of Doctor Who. Is when the second trailer was Jodie Whittaker breaking the glass ceiling, and I'm like, what glass ceiling, you twat? Because you had Missy, the Master, become female and played very well by. It's really weird when the new crew came in for this era of Doctor Who. They completely forgot the last 3 years.
Yeah,
that's not cool.
Yeah,
it's nice to see it with a bigger budget, though.
Yeah, they're only making. But that's some good news, ladies and gentlemen. Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall, or if you mix up the words, Chin Ball. Actually, they're both leaving at the end of 2020. Yep, we've got 12 to 18 months left of the slaughter that is canon. So,
does everyone not like them very much in the
no, not really, no, because she is a fantastic actress. She can't play the Doctor, from my perspective, and he's just destroyed canon, and it's all virtue signaling. And I actually got into a Twitter fight. I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but I was called a bigot because I said it was bad writing, and apparently that's a dog whistle. Like, that's bad writing, you're a bigot.
Bigoted.
I know, but you're thinking clearly, and it's the thing. It's like I'll use a Donald Trump reference, if I may, in what I'm trying to express here. Donald Trump said Rosie O'Donnell is a pig, and someone said,
Yeah, she is.
Wait. Donald Trump said all women are pigs, and then the Don said, no, not all women, just Rosie. And I'm like, bam. And so when I don't like, it's not, the doctor's female. Yeah, but if you had someone good, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
It's about how good the actor is. Any good actor worth the salt would be able to play that.
Yeah, I'm judging someone,
Martin
Luther King Jr., that guy with the crazy wacky idea of judging.
Doctor Who.
Oh, well, he's actually in Doctor Who, but we won't get into that.
I have a dream.
Yeah. Yeah, well, my children are based on their character and merit and their worth, not the color of their skin. And that's the problem where I'm judging the writing or the actress on their ability and not what's between their legs.
You can't do that.
I judge it by the color of the script. If it's black and white, yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes then they have green revisions, and then they have purple revisions, and then they have gold revisions. So it's multicolored. So yeah,
right.
There you are.
It's very multi-diverse. Right.
Yeah.
I'd wager that's a very niche market coloured paper, though.
Not when you're writing though, because you write the script and then as it's being made, because a story is created at least 3 different times when you write it, the script, and there's like 3 or 4 ways of doing that. Like there's a great film starring Sean Connery. He's an actor, you know. Finding
Welsh.
Forrester. No, he's Scottish, you daft bastard. Don't make me come over there, eh? It's Welsh. Mind you, I'm part Welsh, so yeah, but no, Sean is the King of Scotland. It's either Sean or Bill Connolly. They would actually have a friendly argument over who was the King of Scotland.
Queen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hello. Yes. Anyway, there's a movie called Finding Forrester, and it's about a chess genius. No, a writer. Chess? What the hell? I'm mixing that up.
Yeah,
anyway,
is he a good driver?
I'm not sure.
That's driving Miss Daisy.
That completely different film. One has.
I was talking about Rain. I was talking about Rain Man.
It's even worse now. It's like you got to say Qantas, not driving.
Okay.
Now, Finding Forrester. They explain one thing I got from it is like when you write a story, the first draft is from your heart, the second draft is from your head, because your heart can go anywhere, and then the head's like, really, Smurfs? No. This is a biblical story. Get rid of the Smurfs. All right then. So you write the story 3 or 4 times in script form, and once it's handed in, then there's actually the production where the script can be manipulated and folded. It's like, oh, that doesn't work. We need the Smurfs because there's a reason. And then it gets changed in editing, and that's where actors can do ADR, which is additional or dialogue recording. As well. And then and if you're George Lucas, you can fiddle with your films 20 years later.
In post, yeah.
In post, yeah. So there's it's like with rumors and everything else like that, it's like wait till it comes out. Yeah. And for me and the Doctor and BBC's, whatever the BBC shows, that's when we go, okay, they're doing this. This is terrible. But still, this is what they're doing.
I accepted the Doctor. I love Jodie Whittaker in Broadchurch. Which was a great series with that, funny enough, David Tennant.
So many, and the Doctor who the actor who went on to play the first Doctor,
Pigman Carruthers.
No, Bradley. Bradley. Anyway, he's in Broadchurch as well. So Broadchurch is just full of Doctor Who actors, and Rory, who was a companion of the 11th Doctor, he plays the Reverend in Broadchurch, and weird. Still to this day, I cry. This is how good Jodie Whittaker is. Slight spoiler alert. But it's the main plot, so it's not really a spoiler. She finds out that her son has been murdered, and they find her on the beach. And she finds out by actually seeing the body on the beach. Like, she recognizes the shoes because Danny's missing. And the commitment she has for a mother just realizing her child's been killed. I cry. I still cry every time. It's just the way that the episode's built up, and then her release of finding out. And it's like, if you don't cry, you're a robot.
You
Now,
don't have a heart if you don't cry.
yeah,
That
basically,
serious.
you soulless. You're the
Especially
Clintons.
by the end of it.
Oh yeah,
I don't know about season 2 so much.
yeah. Well,
But the first one,
the first one's
no,
awesome.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
The second one, where it's like more of like a trial and whatever.
Yeah, and the third
Like,
one's like, you leave them hanging. The
there's
third
a
one's
third
like,
one.
yeah, that explains that how good's the third
How
one?
good
There's
it
a
was.
third one. Yeah, all right. Well, it's not the same. It's like the second season is the fallout from the first season. Anyway, she's not good at the Doctor. People do like, we don't like the writing, but she's good. And like, not really. I'm still waiting for the Doctor to turn up. It's been 23 episodes.
I know. The Doctor has more swagger, I think.
Yeah, well, and also
each one.
Now, from a writing perspective, that Jodie hasn't been given that that moment where the Doctor does a speech, basically just showing how awesome.
Yeah, she does.
No,
I think she kind of has. No, you don't think so?
No, she's a moron, and I still want to punch her. Not Jodie Whittaker, the Doctor. Like, it's like.
Right.
Now, obviously, people say, "Oh, you don't like her because she's a girl." It's like, no. Even if Jodie Whittaker was Juddy Whittaker, a male, it's still
Joseph Whittaker.
Yeah, Joseph. And the accents, just the same 4 accents. It's like, Sheffield's not that bad, but just the accents.
Right.
We're just going to go out in space, and we're going to fight the deep hordes of Rachnos.
I haven't watched it, but that sounds funny as.
Yeah, not after 3 episodes. Like, great.
I find it amusing just trying to work out what people are saying when that heavy accent kicks in.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have actually put on the old subtitles. Was like, I say, what the hell are they saying? Yeah.
Yeah. It's too bad. It's a shame. But hopefully,
we'll see now. The problem is the BBC won't change, and so they won't. I mean, one way of getting the old fans back is basically you have all of Jodie Whittaker's time in the TARDIS as a regeneration dream, like the Dream Lord.
Yeah, you get all the Days of Our Lives, and either say it was some mystic vision in a ball, or it was a dream, or that's definitely one way out.
A mystic vision in a ball.
When you regenerated, you fell over and hit your head. Ooh.
Days of Our Lives did it all. They were on for like 20 years and had so many plot twists. It just got stupid.
Well, the thing is, with the because it's been going for so long, and it started out as a kids show, but the kids grew up, and by the 70s, it was a family show. And that's what people don't realize. It was made for everyone, where you could have, I had arguments over, Doctor Who's always been political and woke. No. Not the way that it is. Yeah, well, yeah, there is politics in it, and there's environmentalism, and there was left leaning, but it was 1970s left, not batshit crazy leftard crap now. And it's not virtue signaling and berating the audience, and instead of allowing you to choose which side, you just wrong is wrong. You stop shooting people. This is a left-right paradigm. Don't shoot people. But now it's you just it's bad writing because it is bad writing because there's like one timeline. History has to stay history, basically. Linear. You can't have branches off because it messes up everything. Where you step on a plant 3 million years ago and you find out that Paris is actually where the UN is, or something like that. But the way they've played around with it, the Doctor meets another Doctor. We don't know if that's pre or post Jodie because there's the memory wipe, and that Doctor's being chased by people from Gallifrey. But at the same time, the 13th Doctor has seen Gallifrey destroyed. And it used to be that the TARDISes and Gallifrey were linked to the same time period. So if you're 20 years out and the galaxy with the TARDIS, you come back, it's 20 years in Gallifrey, mainly because it's easy to write plots and scenarios. Because if you
seems to make logical sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, because if you have anything you like, you can turn up anytime. the writing's just going to get very messy, where any doctor can turn up to any point in Gallifrey's history. And if you're trying to organize a civilization, you don't really want that constant, who are you, what's going on, you know what I mean? You need to have that linear aspect. Well, they're sort of doing that now. Like, there's an episode called Orphan 55, and you find out it's the Earth, and we're like, oh, okay, well, how does this fit into the past, the timeline that's previously been created? And the doctor says, oh, it's just a possible future. I'm like, whoa, hang on.
Most Whovians are so hardcore and have been watching for so long. They're all just going to offend people by not taking into account the past and everything that's come before.
Yeah, they did, because they basically trashed 58 years of canon. Because you find out. Well, no, because it's the first Doctor's not the first Doctor. He could be the 213,653 third Doctor, because you don't know. Yeah, you find out the Doctor isn't a Time Lord. It's an orphan black young girl who was found near a portal.
Again.
Yeah.
With this whole history thing, do you think we'd be any better or worse if we stopped trying to say what year it was? Because obviously it's not that year, and time didn't begin, that 2021 years ago. But
that's the Christian number. Brandon, are you familiar? Do you know the Jewish number? Because Jesus was the reset, but the Jewish calendar just add 2,000, so it's like 5,400 or something.
3,000. I think you add another 3,000, and or maybe it's 1 million.
It's a different number,
and that goes back to which other body is saying 3,000, because Adam's calendar, all that kind of stuff is older than that.
Pre-flood and whatever they take into consideration. And the Freemasons call it the Andalusius calendar, right?
Yeah, those wacky Freemasons where the lower levels have no idea about all the shenanigans. And they're basically the patsies. Unfortunately, they're the patsies that the sick, evil, twisted guys at the top hide behind.
Yeah. Here's a Bible. Spit on it. Oh, you won't spit on it? Go into that group.
Yeah, exactly.
There's Freemason buildings all through Melbourne. Because at the lower levels, first degree up to the third degree and all that type of stuff. It's all about community and helping and, all that type of stuff. But you get to 33 and you're like, oh, no, we hail Satan.
You don't get your 33rd without making noticeable public change, do you?
Oh, well, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. But my point being,
Casino Mike Baird would have got his 33rd for bringing in the lockout laws in Sydney.
I think it's a sacrifice.
Yeah, most likely. Who knows? But it's
sacrifice of other people.
Yeah, other people.
Yeah, it's
the program. The program.
The organization's been corrupted, basically. So,
Indeed.
Like everything else, really. It's like in the previous show, like, oh, what? Yeah, they shouldn't do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, we have to change the system. And my quote, which most likely will go on a T-shirt. So you're telling me the corrupt system's corrupt? Oh, please go on. I should have a photo of Willy Wonka when I say that.
With the hand on the chin kind of thing in the office.
Yeah, like, really?
The funny thing about that office, it's only half of everything.
I love it.
You get nothing.
That Gene Wilder version was so good.
You get nothing. I saw someone use that GIF with the transgender New Zealand weightlifter, where you get nothing. Good day, sir.
Speaking of glass ceilings, that's one that does work. The Willy Wonka glass elevator.
Yeah, I've never. I don't think they're allegedly there may be a movie, but I haven't read the book. I haven't read either book, but I'm fascinated because.
Has anyone read the glass elevator? The next one.
Me, many times. When I was
is it good?
Fourth grade. It's lovely. It's amazing.
Awesome.
They go through a glass elevator. They go around the world, and a lot of people. This is why a lot of people say that the ultimate sequel is what's the name of that movie, Monty, where they're on a train and they have to go through the different levels, and it's like a dystopia. It's a train.
Oh, Spear something.
Oh, something.
It's on a raid, but it's supposed to be an analogy, of dictatorships or something like that.
Not the Polar Express.
No, that's a great animation
Oh,
about Christmas and Santa and
really?
love.
All right, you need to find an obscure movie, and your hint is a train.
What is it? It was made into a TV series. It was also a movie. No.
Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer. That's it.
Okay, yeah.
That's it. So that's an extended. The theory is that that's the person at the end, Ed Harris. That is Charlie.
Oh, okay. I'll
have
to watch that.
Charlie. Anyway, but you have to read the Glass Elevator.
Yeah, because I maintain that the Terminator movies are linked to the Matrix movies.
Ooh, yeah, me too.
Why?
Yeah, if you squint, don't. Yeah, if you sort of squint, and that works. Yeah, because
I always said. My friend always said, real quick. My friend said, passed away. He's a great drummer too, by the way. He always said, "Yeah, the world's gonna end. It's gonna be Terminator followed by Matrix." That's it.
Yeah, because where we're at in the Terminator story, because they keep rebooting it, it's before they scorch the sky in the Matrix in the storyline. And so it's they try the time travel thing, and then the humans go, "We'll torch the sky," and then they use humans. They're like, "Well done, you bloody humans."
That was a big thing before they dropped the first A-bomb, though. The physicists were saying, "Well, your chance of igniting the entire atmosphere is about 50-50, so it's your call." I was like, "Well, I'll see what happens."
Yeah, that messed that up. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The thing that messed that up is the Animatrix. If you've ever seen that, it's kind of like the prequel.
Yes, I have.
To the Matrix. So what happened is the robots had tried to, have their own, be accepted and were peaceful, but they were treated and destroyed, by humanity.
Slave class, and they rebelled, and it's just a simple allegory, which I find fascinating. And then reading a couple of books by the wonderful Bruce McDonald, it's a false catharsis. Like, why do they keep releasing movies about rebellions and defeating the empire, and no one does it? Because they get rid of that potential
it's a release
energy.
Valve,
They release the energy in the cinema, and then you go out, oh, that's just a story. Oh well, back to the gulag. Yeah, but now speaking of rebellions, let's go a bit koof.
Is that the same as woo woo?
Well, no.
Okay.
I just didn't want to say COVID. Oh, damn.
Oh, okay. We're in Koof Corner, are we?
Yeah, we're
72 to flatten the curve.
Yeah, but basically at this point we've gone back in time and removed the bloodline of the curve and eradicated it from the timeline.
So can I start off with one?
I'll start off one real quick, and then I'm sure you'll be able to add on to it.
All right, quick one.
Just a very quick one. I heard I was being Mum's taxi, which is the reverse of a mum's taxi. I'm actually a taxi for mum, but it was for my stepdad. Anyway, listening to a local radio station, and apparently the federal government is going to put forward that we have digital vaccination passports for international travel.
Geez, didn't see that one coming.
I know. Yeah, that's what I find. I'm slightly amused. Maybe I'm just not caring anymore, and the comedians in me. But the alternative conspiracy world's like, oh, getting all angry, you have to fight. And like, you've known about this for a decade, dude. Like, really?
If you hadn't seen this coming down the pipeline, geez.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised at all. Oh, it's insanity.
Right.
No. But I try to...
Everything seems about just trying to run the economies down, so there will be people just wanting to do this whole reset and be completely dislaved in a digital economy.
Yeah.
Is that just enough of it?
Yeah, but I don't see that happening, because they want humanity's like, oh, yeah, okay, we'll allow the people that create the problem put forward a solution. But we're sort of at the point of no return from their point of view, because this is all or nothing. Yeah, and it's like they suck at it straight off the bat. Remember that, like, and be careful of the language. They're taking over no, they're trying to take over the world, and they suck at it. And even if they take over the world, it'll probably last 8 months because of all the corruption and infighting.
Can I share this dream I had real quick?
Is it about
yes.
Is it about Cough Cough Corner? Because I got a couple more.
Yeah, I was going to say. Okay,
sense,
yeah.
All right, do it.
So Elon Musk. So in this dream, I'm in a mall / airport / Amazon warehouse.
Okay, a few shops around, big space. Yeah.
Yes. / Tesla facility / Facebook. And this is where the world lives now, underneath this giant office building. And it's quite beautiful. It's a big tower.
Oh, Did the roof look like an umbrella?
Yep. And with like transparent and all this, right? But seriously, it was so everyone is there. Everyone is trapped in the system, in the stratifications, and I broke out of it. And Elon calls me on the phone. Right, the boss is like, Elon, this is calling you, and he's like, hello. I'm like, I can't hear you. He's like, he's like, you need to, stop rebelling or whatever it was, and take it. And I'm like, I can't hear you, even though I could hear him.
Did you make the white noise shh noise with your face?
You're going through a tunnel.
And he's like, he got really mad. He's like, you gotta stop, And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm like, he's like, pack your things up. You're out of here. And I slam down the phone. And so I start rebellion, I'm just like jumping around to different areas I've never been to. I see the different elites. I kind of like tell them what's going on. They're like, oh, who are you? And then blah, blah, blah. It was bizarre. It was really bizarre. Anyway.
Yeah.
That was pretty trippy.
Could be a future.
Sounds like a bit of a vivid adventure. So those ones where you kind of remember, oh, I'm dreaming. Can I fly? Can I jump like 50 meters?
Is this a parallel timeline, or is this metaphorically of what's sort of happening in the future, where they got everyone into the deep underground military bases, or DUMBs for short? Mm-hmm. I love it. The private creator writes the best jokes. Let's be fair. We're going to a DUMB. Yeah. Really? Is that smart?
Yeah. We're going to a smart.
Yeah. So what's smart? We'll get back to that.
Beware of adjectives in advertising, that's for sure. Winners, pokey lounge, stuff like that.
Yeah. Humanity's, it's humanity's fault. Not really. That's what I like. Oh, the planet's full of useless eaters. Aren't you the same people that created the education system that dumbed everyone down?
Yeah. Apparently, they're not eating.
Yeah. Oh, there's a pandemic. Oh, you mean hunger? There's a cure for that. It's called food.
Yeah.
So I got another coof points to get out of the way, and we can just get past this. Apparently, a former Pfizer employee has come out to confirm toxic in COVID injection of graphene oxide nanotechnology. It's a bit woo-woo, but there you go. The inventor, again, have a look at the inventor of PCR tests as we're phasing that out at the end of the year, Carrie Mullis, on Odyssey, because it hasn't been scrubbed on censored platforms like YouTube. He comes out and straight out and out says, Fauci doesn't know shit about science, and I'd tell it to his face. Go have a look at what he says. The inventor of mRNA, Dr. Robert Malone, has come out and said basically the vaccine is causing what they call antibody-dependent enhancement, which is where the vaccine is actually causing causing the symptoms to become worse.
Yeah.
And I also saw, I don't know whether these are right or not, but a couple of reports in the last few days of cognitive impairment in, a large, more than 50% of vaccinated people that is coming out now.
Well, that's another thing that our Prime Sinister, Scotty from marketing, that's our nickname for him here in Australia, because he's not from government. He's actually from a PR firm, and he did marketing for Tourism Australia. And it's like, how the hell did you end up here? Well, really?
Well, of course, it actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah. However, he was in Parliament. I think it's probably the second day this year they've had Parliament. But the idea now is to inject children for the or the parents for children should get the vaccine. By having the vaccine, the children won't get COVID, and it's like, well, that's a lie, because people who are fully vaccinated are getting the disease.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is just a massive robbery of governments worldwide Two of the largest producers of COVID-19 vaccines have hiked their price up by a quarter in the last deals with the European Union. Pfizer's currently on track to make $33.5 billion in revenues this year, while Moderna's forecast to make $19.2 billion. This is daylight robbery of international.
That's all it is. That's all it is right at the moment. Like, it could be depopulation, everything else like that. I don't think it's depopulation. It's basically let's make everyone sick, and they don't want everyone to die straight away. They don't want everyone to be sick for the rest of their lives, so they can drain all the energy and life force and money out of them. Complete dependence.
We'll make $19.2 billion every year.
Yeah, exactly.
On the system.
Yeah, and I think we should actually start saying, COVID deaths, suicides, and overdoses, because it's basically
influenza still being misreported as COVID.
Yeah, yes, that's the other problem. Like, I'm sure there is a version, something out there called COVID, but flu and influenza disappeared. Like, nothing sus.
You should check out that. Check Dr. Robert Malone, and he's saying, at the nicest way I can say it is Fauci is being disingenuous. I don't know why anyone's listening to this little guy. Who is this little guy? Why? It's wrong.
I don't understand. Again, is anybody really shocked?
No,
I'm not. For one, because I read Dan Brown's what's the one that came out last.
The symbol, the one after that, I guess.
The lost symbol, but no. It was, where basically a virus goes off. Spoiler alert. And
is that the one that actually comes out of Wuhan or something like that he wrote? Or was that Dinar Kuntz?
No. This is one where, I'm not sure. But this one actually is a virus by humanist. And he fakes his own death, etc. And it comes out out of Turkey, and it infects essentially the entire population. And they get there and they find the little secret device that's supposed to go off just in time, but they realize they've lost, and that the whole world is infected, and you'll never be able to go back. And what it does, this virus, is it keeps everybody. Basically, it is a kind of population thing. It infertilizes anyone that won't go along with the transhumanistic agenda, essentially.
What do you mean? Makes them pregnant?
No, the opposite.
No, infertile. Makes them infertile. Yeah. It's scary.
Damn it, Bob! You got the formula problem. Everyone's pregnant now.
You stuffed it again. You didn't carry the one. Get all these men out there.
I'm
with big
sorry,
bellies.
boss. I had a bad day.
That's a 7.
What was the Schwarzenegger film where he had a baby? That one.
I like that one. It's a 7, not a 1. You should put that little stick halfway up. That's what I do now. Once I learned 7. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Real quick, it's the Inferno.
Oh, right. Okay.
Actually, known. It's based on Dante. But it's Dan Brown Inferno, and in fact, they did make a movie of it. But it didn't do so at the box office, but Tom Hanks is in it. And so check it out, Inferno. This is 10 years ago.
Oh, excellent. I most likely will. I'll add that to the list of things I should be I shouldn't be watching while doing something else. At the moment, I'm just finished season 2 of Manifest. It's interesting.
Oh, I haven't heard about that.
Oh, basically, take the idea of Lost and make it better.
Ooh, that was kind of weird in all directions.
Yeah, a plane disappears for 5.5 years, and the passengers start having visions and hearing. It could be the voice of God, but they're hearing their own voices. It could be their higher self. There was a plan to do 6 seasons, and NBC cancelled it after the 3rd. And I'm like, great, another TV show that I won't get closure on. However,
too close to the truth with
probably
tight beam communication guns into people's ears.
Probably, yeah. And then, interestingly enough, season 1 and 2 are on Netflix, and it got to number 2 on their ratings. So I think they're back because they realize it's popular, and a lot of fans want closure. On the story. It's like, we need to find out what it is. and it's I can see why it is popular because it's I keep feeling movements in my heart because there's a lot of family stuff. Just one bit of drama. Now, when I say drama, I don't mean soap opera drama. I mean actual drama where people can have good times and they have bad times. Obviously, it's a TV show, so bad things happen. Because imagine 45 minutes of hey, let's go play mini golf. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Do you want some
let's
candy
go.
cane?
Let's go right now. I love candy canes.
It's like why should I watch this anyway? Because it's been 5 years. Parents die. People get married and all that type. So there is that drama, and you can see like it's not a very black and white story where like a father comes back with his son and the wife/mother after 2 years started dating again and he's in a relationship. And you've got that. It's a little bit soap opera-y, but without the soap, if that makes sense. As well as there's all synchronicities all the way through because everything's connected. So there isn't any bad sort of like, oh look, none of those. Oh look, here's the answer right in front of us. It's written well where everything is put together like a jigsaw puzzle.
Excellent. What I saw is that Sir Gawain the Green Knight by A24 Studios, and that is a retelling of a medieval Arthurian legend, my favorite.
Cool. Oh, I'll check that out. I've seen people saying, well, there hasn't been the woke backlash, so I'll check it out because I find that interesting. Where it's like, John Wick came out. Oh, that's good. And then Ghostbusters 16 come out, and everyone starts screaming. Or the new He-Man, and everyone starts screaming. It's like,
didn't
wow.
Kevin Smith come out and say, "Oh, you He-Man nerds, shut up already"? Jeez.
Yeah. But they pointed out, he said, "Oh, He-Man's the center of the story." It's like he dies in the first episode, dude.
Yeah.
Now, in slight defense, we've only seen 5 episodes of a 10-episode season.
Part 2. I think that, exactly.
Who knows how it's going to play out, but it's got the woke tropes, and people are getting tired of the same.
Good, though.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed it. Like Teal is insufferable, and I'll punch her.
The robot, the robot, Roboto.
Yeah,
he's like when he dies, he actually says one of my favorite lines. He's like, you see. I wasn't a robot. I was a miracle. Oh my God! I mean, there's lines. Like that.
It was worth it. And then he dies. He realizes that because he reached like is it the Turing test for consciousness or something? Like it proves to him. It proves to him, and he's happy that he dies because he understands that. Just quick slash into the left there.
Has someone gone to the bathroom, or is that just water a pitcher into a glass?
That would be a glass of water.
It's not the old Sylvester Stallone going to the toilet with his mic on and meeting his lady friend in the toilet, and being broadcast over the movie crew.
No. Basically, just 10% of the males listening just cross their legs because when you hear running water,
or a beer opening.
Well, yeah.
That's more of a
I'm gonna go pee. Yeah,
but that was Sylvester Stallone, wasn't it? Worked a chef, cradle of balls. Worked a chef. Give it a name.
I'm not
just
sure.
Remember Adam Sandler, that old Adam Sandler tape, where he's the guy that pees and he just keeps going and going and going.
Well, that was in the Naked Gun movies, if you remember, where he's got the radio mic and he pees for.
I think he did it. I think they did it first. I can't remember anything before.
They probably did. They probably did. Yeah.
They probably did.
And it was just really, because you can hear Frank going, and everyone's waiting. And what I find interesting, the sound guy could have just turned off the channel, but
that is those hold up. Speaking of movies that hold up, I watched the second one recently, just the first part of it, and it's so funny.
Let's come part 2.
Part 2.5 or whatever, Yeah. And Naked Gun 2.5, and Priscilla Presley's in it. He's like, "Did you get a description of the guy?" And she goes, "I don't know." She's like, "Mustache, 6'3". And she was
goes, pretty good in that.
But he goes, pretty tall for a mustache.
One of my favorite lines from the first one is when he's going through the office and he pulls open the drawer and he goes, bingo, and just pulls out the bingo card and stuff like that. It's just.
I like
I
the
love it.
classic one where there's an attractive young woman behind the counter and she's wearing a tight-fitting top, and he's like, and she goes, "Is this a bust?" And Frank goes, "Yes, it's very impressive."
Yes.
But
sorry.
Oh, I was just going to mention, there was 6 episodes of Police Squad where like 80% of the jokes are used in the film because Police Squad wasn't that well known. I went on the high seas and got a copy, and it's great where they're undercover in a locksmith store and someone throws a brick or a rock through the window. No. There's all this gunfire, and it's all above them, and they stand perfectly still. And then they go, "Quick, get down!" And someone throws a rock through the window. And where they threw the rock, it takes out the L in locksmith. And so the next day, there's a guy with an ox. just weird stuff like that. And they keep trying. They keep trying. Back in the day, you actually had to cut the cut keys manually. And every time they put the key to the grinder, it goes up into the roof, and the roof is completely covered with keys. And every time they slam the door, all these keys keep falling down off the roof. It's really well.
There was a slapsticky movie like that called Amazonian Women on the Moon or something like that.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah, there's one.
VHS scene where he ends up falling out the table. Sorry, Brent.
Oh no, it's okay. With Frank Drebin, who's Liam Neeson's character.
Nielsen.
Oh, Nielsen, sorry, character. And he's bribing an informant. He's like, "Where did you see him? Or whatever. Maybe this will change your mind." And it's a dollar bill.
What about this?
And he takes it. And then he gives it back to him every time he hits.
Can you spot me a 20? Yeah. I think Frank comes up $5 more out of that exchange.
I don't know.
I followed that through. So I followed the money. Like, the guy owes Frank $20. Yeah, because the informant asks Frank a question. It's like, well, maybe I don't want to tell you. Would this loosen your?
So I had an idea, it would be a lawyer. Check this out. That goes in and Judge, can I approach the bench? Yeah. Maybe Mr. Washington will change your mind. It's only $1 bill. It's only a $1 bill instead of like $100 bill. He bribes people with only $1.
Yeah, it's all about the Washingtons, Joe.
Maybe George, my friend George, can change your mind, but it works every single time.
Ooh,
that's the
George.
best part.
Yeah, and the first film,
Mr. Washington.
I think they did the Police Squad. I think they did that after Aeroplane, which for some stupid reason in Australia it's called Flying High. And
really?
It's just brilliant. Yeah, because we go, Flying High, and every American's like, what the hell are you talking?
Maybe the government in Australia didn't want to get people confused with real airplanes. I thought maybe they thought that would happen or something.
They call everything Mad Max.
Yeah, surely you can't be serious. I am, and stop calling me Shirley.
I saw the meme that's been circulating at the moment. Mad Max 2 was set in 2021.
Yeah,
can we dress like this yet?
Yeah, and that's a fine figure of a man. He's the one that's like, there's been too much pain, there's been too much anger.
Into the microphone.
We just want the toilet paper.
And Morton Joe though wears that mask if you think about it, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's all this, but it's what I find fascinating where we didn't really know how all this was going down. And it's Alex Jones
and Joe Biden.
It's like, really, Donald Trump's a joke. Yeah, wait till you see the next guy. Like, wow, oh my god, yeah. It's only been 6 months. Anyway, Alex Jones was, because he found the white papers. Who the white papers could be just misdirection, so it's not having a go at Alex. But Alex has been pretty right for a long time. There's a memer called Garbage Human, and he sells merchandise, and one of them is a tip jar saying Alex was right, and it's full of money. It's like, I may buy that one.
It's crazy how sensitive he is.
Instead of the whole, because we used to, thanks to the History Channel, because they just show it over and over again.
World War II channel, yeah.
Yeah,
I do love it.
Yeah, but it's not hard lockdown tyranny. It's they put medical in it, and that's why it's kind of working now, because you can argue over, but there's the plague. Like, yeah, but is there?
The plague.
But it's conspiracy. Remember at the start of 2020 when half the conspiracy guys freaked out because like, what, this is real? It's like, yeah.
I love it now. Everyone who would have really called or used the word conspiracy theorist actually in everyday conversation to talk about other people, they're all the ones who now have become super paranoid. It's hilarious.
Oh
it's
yeah,
absolutely hilarious to watch people. You just got to stand back and just watch a little bit.
Right.
You try and have, before this happened, you would try and have reasonable conversations about important stuff. And some people you can, some people you can't. Some people haven't even thought about it. Some have and come to the wrong conclusion. Some simply can't have a conversation about it.
A tinfoil hat is probably more effective than a mask at this point.
Oh, yeah. Masks are good for stopping someone just coming up and spitting in your mouth. Come on.
Yeah,
right.
But I smell farts that go through my pants, so.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. Not on purpose. It's not like a hobby of ours.
Yeah.
Dear listeners, like, I sniff my own farts.
So what are you doing this afternoon? Want to come smell farts?
Yeah. For medical reasons, clearly. Oh, jeez. Oh, I can smell. I smell nitrogen. I really should stop eating meat. Good times. We're coming up to the halfway point, by the way, gentlemen. We've got about 3 minutes. So,
break out the oranges.
I'm not getting much feedback from the show, but hopefully people are laughing. In my quirky thing, even if it's that bad, you can still laugh at the show.
Yeah, I got one. I got a racing snail. I took off its shell to try and make it more speedy, but if anything, it made it more sluggish.
Hey,
that's all I got. That's the only joke I know.
Well, what's the other snail joke? Or is that the snail joke?
That's it. Drawing a blank here.
I know.
Well, good one. Well, you do know. I learnt this from David Bellamy because I don't like David Attenborough, who's a shill.
Especially after that Bodie McBoatface incident.
Yeah, it's David Bellamy who got shunned because he wouldn't go with the climate change narrative, and it was like, oh, that's rather telling. Anyway, he taught me that slugs are basically snails that went through a divorce because the wife got the home.
Yeah.
And a joke that worked yesterday. Remember, tradition is just peer pressure from dead people.
It's true. Don't feel peer pressured by dead people. I think that's something people can take away from today.
Well, we're in a democracy of the living, unfortunately.
Are we though?
But even in democracy, that mob rules. And what I find interesting, like there's a great song by Dio, the mob rules. It's like, yeah, but now it's down to minority rules.
It's getting to the super interesting edge where everyone who had any kind of possible trust or enthusiasm for the government after every international government has shown that they're nothing more than dangerously incompetent. We're getting to the point where they're going, well, we've done what you said, we've had our 2 shots, where's our freedom? I thought you vaguely got the media to point out, well, if we do this, we'll all be able to go see our relatives. We'll be able to go out overseas. So it's super interesting. I mean, unless these same people who just went straight out and got the jab are the laziest among us. I mean, I'm hoping that they're just trying to do the right thing, and so they've got grounds to say, what now? Okay, what are you going to add on now? But these people should be standing up and saying,
continuous.
What's going on?
And see, I was while being Mum's taxi, speaking with my stepdad. He said to him that when New South Wales going through what Victoria went through a year ago, but it was a different time then. Captain Obvious, thank you. But we were still kind of afraid, and there was the unknown. And by the end of our lockdowns, it's like, mother lover, I'm going to stab someone. And so it was just near the end. You can feel the background tension of revolution. But now that it's been 18 months of this horse hockey, and Sydney's like, yeah, whatever, dude. and that's why they're cracking down. Where the military's been brought in for checkpoints, and they're going. Police are going to house to see if you're harbouring friends, and there's been footage
Are they
of.
Really though?
Well, the police commissioner said they're doing that. So, like, if they're not doing it, he's lying at a press conference.
Well, I haven't seen it going on, but it might be happening out west. Who knows?
Politician lie? No.
I'm glad you were sitting down for that one, Brandon.
This is what. How did we get to a spot where everyone just has a short memory and starts trusting the government and the media again? Over and over, they've shown that they double-cross everyone from other countries to their own population. You know, Smith-Mundt Act hasn't helped.
They're using the primal fear of death. And what a way to end the hour. We're all going to die again. You're listening to Revolution Radio. This is Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. I've been joined by Cortek and Brandon Young, who I used to know in my rap group as B Young, because I'm Monty. We'll be back after these messages. Stick around. We'll have more laughs. I always just think of Mickey Mouse and those brooms when I hear that dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Come on, you assholes, we have to do more water. Get more water. Welcome back to Planet Collingwood at freedomslips.com, Revolution Radio Studio A. That's your jumbled sentence. Well, all the information's there. Even Yoda's going, wrong you are. My name is Monty Dean. I've been joined by Cortek and Brandon Young. And a big shout out to the chat room who are sharing cat memes. Just awesome. And talking about the show on Studio B. So, but now I should, it's 3 a.m. KLF's going to rock you. Eternal. So that's just what I do. Well, the station is on the east coast of the United States, and so it's 3 a.m. there. It's just 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Melbourne, Victoria. I don't think I want to be part of Australia, because Australia
5 p.m. is going to rock you. It'll work the same.
Yeah, KLF, Eternal, Ancients, and Moo, which is kind of weird because apparently Australia was still a prison back then as well. Like, there seems to be a theme here, ladies and gentlemen. It's attempted comedy. Let's be fair, and we're just here for a bit of a light chat, releasing some energy. If you tuning in for the in-depth analysis of conspiracy theories and what's going on in the world, you have the rest of the week on the station to do that. We talk about stuff, but it's through the lens of comedy, so the alphabet agencies don't shut us down. I'm still sure there's some people at the NSA is like, no, I'll take Wednesdays at 2 a.m. Yeah, no, you go home, Dave. You go home. No, it'll be fine. Well.
Gives them time to have a little nap, I suppose.
Yeah.
Company time.
Yeah, and so some people actually go to sleep listening to Planet Collingwood. Now, you think I'll be offended. It's like, well, no, if you can go to sleep to Australian accents, get out of your glass. It's not the smooth
like
dulcet tones.
It's like the ocean crumbling off rocks
in a typhoon.
So soothing. Can you just do that for the rest of the night?
Yeah.
The Pirates Band of Misfits or something like that. It's a cartoon about these pirates or whatever, and they just got one. The pirate goes, "Oh, can you make some of those? Can you make some of those seagull noises? Oh, and just a little bit of kind of the waves going." Whoosh.
Whoosh.
Oh, no, very good.
So yeah, Planet Collingwood, releasing tension and making you fall asleep. And then while you're listening to us in the dream time, good luck with that. What's happening in your dream hologram net? I was just dreaming, and then someone said Smurfs, and then all of a sudden I'm surrounded like I was in Congress, and Papa Smurf was really angry.
On a movie set with the Smurfs, and it's in an airport. I don't know what's going on, but everyone's there.
Smurfette's having a cigarette, and she's got a growly voice. Yeah, I'm not getting enough work. It reminds me of you remember the cartoon Duckman with Jason Alexander doing the main voice?
Yeah, that was a bit wrong, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
No,
in a good way. In a good way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was very adult. But they come back from an advert, and the cast are talking. They're in their lounge room, and one's having a cigarette, and they're just talking about what they're coming up. I may have some work at Disney, and like they're just doing that classic actors talk when they're not filming, and then all of a sudden, oh crap, and then they go back into the story. I love that. That was quite good.
Nice.
It's also reminiscence of if you remember the Simpson episode where it was one of the court cases, and you're watching Channel 6, and they cut to Kent Brockman, but it just starts with Ockman here at the courthouse.
I love there's little touches like that, which is so beautiful in the first 10 years.
Yeah. But get to the 20th and go, oh, yeah, that's enough. After the 20th, it's like, have you thought of picking up a joke book? It's just not funny at all. And of course, what I'm finding, it's part of the divide where, like, realistically, the left and right is just a false duality because it's a mono party system basically.
And they're old terms. You can't use old terms anymore.
And all the extremists are extreme. There's like,
Tell me more. Go on.
Go on.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's a left wing, right wing, but the extremists are like a horseshoe. They meet in the middle when they hate each other. There's a New Zealand band called She Had, and they haven't released an album for 7 years because they've been around for 30 years, so they can do that.
They were good though. They were quality.
Where they're coming from now, it's like, they're not going to go broke, but they're going a little bit woke.
Yeah, that's no good. They were always chasing the dollar a bit when they changed their name. Yeah, so they would be less offensive after 9/11. It was like, don't chase that. Don't chase that
they got
agenda,
their name,
man.
Yeah, they got their name from June because they misheard jihad. Because Paul and the jihad for the Freeman and all that type of stuff. But to them, it sounded like she had. And so they created a word, and it's awesome. Yeah, she had. But the latest stuff, the new album is called Old Gods, and I think it's a photo of Captain Cook, or technically it should be Lieutenant Cook. He became a captain later. He was a captain of a ship.
Interesting.
Hello, I'm Pedantic Man. I don't have any friends.
I was wondering if we were going to see Pedantic Man this afternoon. I was feeling a little bit, I hope he came out.
He's hanging out with Captain Obvious.
Man.
Yeah. And it's called Old Gods, and so I want to do, if I was good at Photoshop, instead of she had be leftard and false gods, because the lead singer now this is just free will choice, but there's a hint of hypocrisy. He's converted to Islam, and because his wife, who's Sudanese, is a Muslim, and they've got kids together. It's like, well,
we're talking about the guy who used to go by, is it John Too Good or something?
Yes. That's a gentleman.
Has he changed his name?
No, he's still John Too Good.
Was that actually his real name?
Yes, but he's fallen into the Black Lives Matter narrative
trap.
Yeah. Now, for personal reasons, basically, so I don't get in trouble. Human lives matter. Let's move on. As I maintain,
everyone's lives matter, but that just seemed like a psyop, didn't it? Where the main person who was running everything took off and bought 5 houses.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like it's actually one of the titles for Planet Collingwood on YouTube is Black Lives Matter racist? Because the organisation is the idea of like, let's treat humans well and like not kill them. Yeah, that's good. But it's Black Lives Matter, and they did an interview on the project in New Zealand, and so like, red flags everywhere. Left lane. They're leaning into that lefty, like, we're right. Everyone, Trump's a bad person. He started writing songs because he saw Charlottesville with all those white guys with tiki torches and the rise of white supremacy, and I don't want my children's like, nice sentiment, but most of it's horseshit because
wrong country.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, they tour the country and everything else like that. They tour the globe, when they can. But the thing is, it's like there are people who still think Trump is a blatant racist because of that clip where there was good people on both sides. Now, if you watch 20 seconds on either side of that sentence, he denounces Nazis and white supremacy, but the media cut that out. And also, like, it's put a thorn in my claw.
Media is not to be trusted either. Why do people still listen to it? You know, all these big organized media just need to be left to wither and die.
Yeah, well, actually, you know, Rage Against the Machine did say your anger is a gift. Now, back in 1992, they were correct. But now in 2021, your apathy is a gift. And that's going back to He-Man. What Hercules was good. He-Man, which I didn't mind. Testicular man. Yes, non-gender binary fluid entity. And the overlords of the universe. Anyway, basically they realize if there's a negative reaction, the marketing love it because it gets out there. If
any publicity is good publicity kind of thing.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And so that's why Solo, a Star Wars story, got hit really hard because after The Last Jedi, people were turned off. And the apathy towards the next film, it lost money. It was the first Star Wars movie.
They've killed the entire franchise. Everyone has just turned their back.
No. They've beaten it up and it's on life support because you got the Mandalorian. They're still making shows, but it's not as big as the main money
spinner. The main money spinner that makes more money than music and movies combined is video games. And no one wants to go near them because they're just like, well, you might have the best starship flying kind of title out there that really is like being in the movie around one of those massive ships and having a massive battle, and it could be the best ever. But you've totally killed the franchise, and I'm not going to support it. I'm not going to support you. Well, I'm not going to support anyone who went in there with an unlimited budget and just killed people's treasured dreams.
It's all about the patriarchy, but I mean, there's an element of truth. Like, yeah, men were in charge, but that's why you had the suffrage movement, where they came as like, my timeline is the first wave of feminism when it was generally about equality. The first wave of suffrage, like, we'd like to vote, we want to be treated equal. And then 70 years later, in the 70s, the second wave of feminism, where it was like, no, really, we would like to be treated equally. Then the third wave came in, and it's like, well, we got everything. We basically got what we mostly wanted. Now we're going to act like men and take over. Yeah. Instead of actually equality, it's like, no, we'll replace the woman with the man. And they're overcompensating in that respect.
Yeah, there's the overbalance of any new power. It just, I mean, I could ask a hardcore feminist, so what would you want most? And it's like, well, for women to take control and get in power and stuff like that. And I go, well, would that be enough, or would it be, is it a shared role? And no, it's a dictatorship. Yeah, and I said, well, how long would you need this to go on for to really feel justified and
1,000 years?
Yeah.
And I was going to say, now I've got to see if I'm going to say this word. You did say dictatorship. Don't say the actual feminine version of that because we're taken off air. It's well, I can't say the C word, but just replace dick. Yeah. See, now just coming up with this. No, vagina. Like it's a vagina-ish ship, or the book of words, the vagina-enary, but with a k. So yeah.
Don't give woke people ideas who work at dictionary, who work at Webster's or whatever.
Well, I ran out of time, unfortunately, to do a top 9. I'll do it next week, but we'll do a writing session right now. I won't write it down. I've got some ideas, but it was going to be the top woke sports at the Olympics, and
makeup.
Mental gymnastics. That would probably be number 2. Punch a Nazi boxing. Basically, you fight anyone that you disagree with. The making up words and the non-gendification of the language. So you can see where this is going.
I like it. It's more of an Olympics of ideas. I want something like that where we just debate those ideas that sound super silly at the beginning, but have larger, analogies and ramifications if we actually could sort them out.
Yeah, and what I haven't been following the Olympics at all. I can't be asked, but it leaks through onto my radar. There is actually a sprinter or a long jump which has the name Gay. I'm like, oh, hello, and there was a shot putter whose name was Bigot.
What was it? What sport though?
Well, a shot putter.
Oh, shot putter. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah. So I was watching the women's volleyball, Canada versus Lithuania.
Beach volleyball, obviously.
So beach volleyball, right at that in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Sand, and these women are beautiful. I will watch this.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, did you watch it for the sport or?
No, don't give a shit.
No, and that is actually turned up and it's like, oh, the sexualize the women is disgusting, and then the next article's like, oh my god, look at this hunk. It's like,
or look at this woman too. I mean, jeez.
I know. But the point is that you can't look at women, you can't objectify women, but then they're drawing over all these men that are health and fit
Soccer
as well.
Beach volleyball did get into the Olympics because it's a complex game.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean, volleyball's an interesting game already, but let's put it on sand where you can break an ankle if you land wrong.
Let's pretend they're at the beach so they can wear beach attire.
Bikinis, exactly.
Well, was it the Swedish team? They decided instead of wearing bikini bottoms, which is like fair enough because it just basically looks like a wedgie when it wants to grow up. But they wore bike pants, like lycra bike pants, and it's like that's not really stopping the sexualization because now you've just got a second skin. It's like, oh, you've pierced down there.
I'll tell you what, though.
But why can't they just wear not footy shorts, but those not short shorts, but just basketball shorts? Why can't
I think you've gone too far with this one.
Yeah, too far. No,
I think it's quite
sorry.
all right.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize we're at Perverts Anonymous. It's like, nah, you're ruining it. I'm trying to fap here, mate.
Next door on the left.
Yeah. Whiny, male feminist is the next room down.
I think you get a couple of estrogen pills on the way in the door.
Yeah.
And your testicles are removed, but you get them back at the end of the meeting.
They get back in the jug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention. I don't think anyone has really.
The skateboarding at the Olympics has been awesome. As usual, Japan has done an incredible job when they want to do anything. I'm sure they've kidnapped a couple of the world's best park builders because the custom parks, street sections of bowls are amazing.
Well, they had an extra year to fix everything.
Oh, yeah, so did their skateboarding.
And nuclear power.
Yeah, because like now, when is that the Olympic mascot Godzilla or like it'll be interesting. Will they be having the next Olympics? Will it be 3 years or will they start the 4 year?
It will be schedule does not change. That's why they told Japan just to keep all the 2020 signage.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see what's the next thing because it's I find it fascinating.
You mean what's the next new sport to come in? Or what?
No, the next step in the lockdown scenario because the pandemic's over. It's like there's other countries, right? Like it's just Sweden's doing quite well. No masks, no cases, and
did you? Oh, sorry. Did you see? And just real quick today on the news, is you guys saw this? There was a plane, and this passenger was supposedly they don't have this on camera. He assaulted someone on board, on the flight. So they duct taped them
to the seat.
And restrained him essentially.
If you can't do the job with duct tape, you're not using enough of it.
It's nuts.
Well, that's the level of insanity that we're at. Where, in 2019, you could ask your doctor for a second opinion, and your medical history was private. now.
Yeah.
People are almost going to war. And my question now, I kind of know the answer, but the pro-vaccine group aren't asking the question why the anti-vaccine group are doing what they're doing. They just jump, oh, you're idiots. Well, do you understand? They don't understand why. It's like, no, you're idiot. And it's like, really? That's just a cop out of like.
It's not idiotic to kind of ask questions and make sure things are safe.
Exactly. Yeah. Science is about questioning. Like questioning science is science. And
well, if this person who got taped wasn't a white male, there would be riots all over the country.
Oh, definitely, they would use that racism to try and stir up more trouble. For sure.
And it's really bizarre.
I'm going to make a prediction. I don't do it often, but next year is an election year, so Black Lives Matter will be coming back.
Oh, great.
Have you noticed that since 2013 or whatever it is? It's like the Black Lives Matter gets wheeled out at election years. Like,
matter.
Just general racism. Do you think people will fall for that same thing again if they get paid? Maybe.
No. I think it's the spell has been kind of broken. There are people that are gung ho and like Black Lives Matter. It's like, well, yeah, but if you say all lives matter, if you say all lives matter, you'd be called racist. I'm like, okay, because they think that you mean the black community suffering, so the white people are getting killed, and it's like, well, they can't look at South Africa. What happens there? Black Lives Matter while they're killing the white farmers. Like, yeah, okay, that really works. I'm kind of weird. I go for human rights and human lives matter, and it's like trans rights or gay rights. Well, that would fall under human rights. Or are you saying these people aren't human? But it's divide and conquer through ideology. Where we need to have drinking fountains for blacks and like we kind of did that in the 60s. And,
it didn't go so well.
Yeah,
it is divide and conquer in any which way people who can do it seem fit, and people fall for it over and over. And if you're having a go at your fellow man or something, chances are you've been manipulated. Really.
Yeah. And as I said, it should have been Black Lives Also Matter, and you wouldn't have any of these problems. And most people go, that's correct.
And it's such a better anagram.
Oh yeah, blam.
Maybe a little bit too telling.
Yeah, and like it's just with my global network, which is very weird to say. I have a global network. People I talk to outside of the country. Australians, you lost your guns and you're in a police state. And like, not where I am at. Like that's what I was trying to explain with Victoria. No, New South Wales is a hellhole at the moment because of how they're all reacting, but. We're sort of got used to it.
Again, like you say, it's not at that point, really. I mean, you go out and everyone's being nice to each other and whatever, and there's, these whatever they can scrape off the barrel of people reacting in some kind of publicity-worthy way that might get them more viewers or more money or something like that. But generally, it's not that bad.
Yeah, and it's you hear the terms like un-Australian or un-American. It's unhuman because we're going back to that two-tier system where vaccinated and unvaccinated, and the stats that are coming out is the vaccinated are getting infected as well. So it really, but it's not severe, but it's still the same. Like, why do you need a vaccine passport if you still can have the virus, whatever it is?
Yeah, it just does not make sense, and they will have to back down because there is no way that it makes sense. You try to have conversations with people. So you've done it now. Okay, so you've done it. You didn't get actually in writing from, the deal that you made for going to get it and then thinking that you get something back like your freedom.
Yeah, and it's really weird. Well, that's the other thing. They've been told a lie where get the vaccines and we're going back to normal. Well, when's that starting? Because you're vaccinated. Yeah. I think we're only what's the percentage, Cortek? 13% of Australians have.
I heard 17.
Yeah, so it's low, and they want 70%. But you'll notice because they'll just kick the can down the road, which is basically the political game plan. When it gets to 70%, you'll still have masks and lockdowns because there's somehow everyone's getting sick still.
It's a vague disinformation between people who actually have the power to make the decision and media who will lie to sell a newspaper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the journalistic as well. It's all about narrative, and as they keep pushing the narrative, like it's that the point of no return with in simpler labeling, the New World Order. I mean, it's a medical tyranny, just not homegrown average.
It's definitely
tyranny.
the same family ties to people who actually said that under in front of a microphone. Is you're not.
As you said, like, how can people take this on board? And it was the whole primal fear of death. And but if you've got 99.97% chance of surviving, it's like, well, hang on, because look what's happening to the businesses. Suicides are going through the roof.
It is the attempted decimation of small business.
Yeah, the Australian actor who took his life recently. He was on Home and Away.
What was his name?
Dieter Brumner or something like that.
Oh, Dieter.
Yeah, he's passed away, and it's because he owned a construction company. And he just lost out financially, and he didn't see a way out. And so, unfortunately, it takes someone famous to go through all this. Then people start noticing. But suicides going up, young people up until 20, 21, 22, they're just looking at the world and going, well, what's the point of anything? Especially Greta Thunberg, who's an adult now, so you can make fun of her.
About time.
The world's going to end 10 years. What do you think an 8-year-old's going to think when they get that pushed on them all the time? Like, there's kids who have decided to end their life because they didn't see any hope.
Well, this is the spokespeople for idiots, the people chosen by the media. You've got the guy in the UK whose model was chosen for, the lockdown statistics to have some kind of degree of science involved when we say, the whole planet has to be locked up for, 1 or 2% people who are, who are legitimately at risk here. And this guy, calls the lockdown thing. His algorithm or whatever gets chosen because it's so vague and can be misinterpreted in every different direction. They have a lockdown. He goes and has an affair with someone, breaks the lockdown because he's just so internally ripped apart by what's happened with his work. 3 months later, people have kind of jumbled his algorithm back together so it can be looked upon as not a complete bunch of garbage, but we're still internationally following this algorithm and advice for lockdowns of a whole country that make absolutely no sense. And that's only the first bit of data reviewing, but we're at, that's the back of the train. We're at the front of the train looking, no one's looking back, we're this is what we're doing now. And it's just so dumb. So dumb.
You can make a correlation to Charles Darwin and the eugenics movement, because Charles just here's something I put together and see what do you think, and then you've got this ideology of survival of the fittest, kill everyone, and like Chuck's
we love you, Charles.
Charles is like,
what's this medal for?
You bitches be tripping, yo.
Like, is that how he really spoke? Yes, that was.
Well, the way that history's now, everyone.
Show.
Yes. Charles Darwin has been replaced by a 24-year-old black woman from the Bronx. Yo, mother lovers.
What's the name? What's the name from 40-Year-Old Virgin? Show.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I was watching. What is it? Mr. and Mrs. Smith? No, or it's a Jim Carrey movie, and the movie's quite forgettable except for this one woman where she's basically we could unless you're on drugs, which I'm not. Praise Jesus. That's the only line I remember from the movie. I don't even remember the movie I'm referring to.
What's it's Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you say?
I don't know. No, Dick and Jane. That's what it is.
Oh, it's the thing about that was forgettable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that was Tia Leone. She's lovely. Yeah.
She is.
Yeah. And if you remember the Bill Hicks routine when they find a cure for AIDS, there'll be sex in the streets. I can kind of see that with lockdown because everyone's getting a little bit horny.
Oh yeah. I mean, well,
yeah. Thank you for that pause. Yeah. Yes, people have referred to that. Yeah, in my correspondence, people have referred to that. Yes,
the data statistics show.
yeah. The web traffic on Pornhub seems to be going through the roof.
Yeah, it's all COVID related pornography. Yeah, right.
Yeah, which is just another way.
Take long.
No, so it's. So it's quite fun where if you actually look at all the global narrative, it's quite sad. And then if you ignore it and go outside, like, wow, look, that flower's blooming. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's like people are carrying on,
Yeah, and it's fascinating where the time to wake people up is way over, and people are waking up on their own time. Where you don't have to look at this. It's the actions and the words don't match. Every day, people are waking up to the hypocrisy of what's going on. But it's more about just getting community and friends, and building. Be the change in the world you want to see. And by actually, in the woo-woo perspective, it's you take over. You don't engage with the global narrative. You're creating your own dream bubble, and you can still see the global narrative. You just don't engage with it. You can observe it and go, well, that's just silly. I'm going to do this, and what's it like down in Australia? It's terrible down there. Like, no, not really. I have to wear a mask. That's about it. But I don't really care about anything else. Yeah. Mind you, being a hermit helps.
Act locally, think globally.
Yeah, and it's that type of point. You don't ignore what's going on because if you're standing on a footpath sidewalk, bloody translate English to English, and a car's driving down and hitting over bins and stuff. It's like, observe the car and
step out of the way.
Yeah, that's basically like, I'm observing it. It's hitting high speed and heading towards me. I'm going to stand over here. But you don't engage with a truck. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll shoot out the tires. No, it's probably one of the worst analogies today.
No, it's okay. It's like the Rick and Morty episode where there was that guy in the ring versus the car. Exactly. Like Here we go. He's tapped the front. Oh, the car wins again. Car always wins.
Yeah, the car always wins. It's interesting where we're getting to the point as well where the last week has been a blur, so I don't know if I'm repeating myself. But Bill Maher did a great 7-minute video on the woke Olympics. And he's just I don't think he's calling himself left anymore because the liberalism has changed.
Yeah, you can't. What did he say?
Oh, he's basically the 3 of the major organizers for the Olympics were fired because of a tweet from 2008 or a joke they said in 1994, and it's like, really, where's the compassion? People change. Why can't you accept? I mean, that people do say don't apologize because they dump on you more, but it's like, oh well, my grandfather. I remember this in. How's this for an obscure reference? I remember this episode in Different Strokes where they found out that Mr. Drummond's great-great-grandfather owned slaves, and they blamed him.
And then how do they resolve it? Because this could be like a thing to resolve the world.
Well, basically, he sort of like, well, that's not me. That was then. This is now. And what are you talking about? Well,
what are you talking about, Willis?
Yeah. And they resolved it, but it's I think
in a very simplistic way.
Well, it was the mid '80s.
Then Urkel came in.
Yeah. Did I do that?
Yeah, I'm Carl.
Yeah. See, now I think Urkel should be the head director of the CIA. Because
he's get away with it. He's got a catchphrase.
Yeah, I know those Senate hearings would be fantastic. Mr. Urkel, you seem to have bombed a black site in Syria. Did I do that?
Yeah.
Case closed.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sorry. Do you have any bananas? I want a banana.
Remember, he would come out
seems
as
sorry.
And
Ron
that
Urkel.
actor, he got a lot of grief. However, apparently he's one of the nicest people in
Oh
history,
yeah,
and he made a lot of money from it because he knew what he's
he's a
doing.
great basketball player as well.
Oh, okay, there you go. So,
Jafar Urkel. No, I'm just kidding. His name is Jameel White.
okay.
Ironically enough, White.
Oh yeah, which sick racist bastard thought, I'm going to call my slaves white, so for their descendants to be feel inferior for the rest of our eternity.
I'll call my slaves king.
Yeah, that. Yes, master, you cheeky little. Well. So yeah, I don't think have we thought of any solutions in the show. It's more of wait and see, which is strangely enough a song by Shehead, but it's just basically wait and see. Look after yourself and follow your heart, follow your passion, and it's not all doom and gloom. Don't play the game. I think that's basically what's going on.
Yeah.
It's unraveling. You have the major doctors, the PCR test inventor, and the person who invented mRNA saying, Fauci and the whole bunch is just being disingenuous at best.
Yeah. Now the thing is that it's all about hearts and minds, Cortek, hearts and minds, because it is generally an information war. Because people say, we just need 25 people and we can take over the government. It's like, unless you have something to back it up, the man with the stick doesn't care about your piece of paper. I've filed paperwork and I'm a free person. You're in jail, dude. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
It does seem.
There's no accountability, and I'm sure. See, I do too many shows. I think that's the problem. I do too many shows during the week, so I don't know. If I did say this last week, I'm reinforcing it. There's no accountability. But if you had 3 major court cases in the United States, you'll notice corruption change across the planet. Because, as an example, big happy birthday to Barack Hussein Obama. He turned 60 today, and he's holding a party. It's a super spreader event. 700 people are going to his house in Martha Vineyard, which is going to be underwater due to climate change.
It's Massachusetts,
and basically it's like it's the hypocrisy of we have climate change, wear masks, like I'm having a birthday, so all that's thrown out the window. Like the mayor of Chicago, Lollapalooza started up. You don't have to wear masks and everyone doesn't have to social distance. It's amazing.
Sounds like he's got a cut on the way. This whole thing, I mean, there's lots of people who are having their birthdays who can't have people over. This hypocrisy is absolutely disgusting.
Queensland and New South Wales. When Queensland was in lockdown because of the Mad Hatter who was in charge, people, it took 48 hours to hear a response about trying to get permission to go see their dying parent. And they weren't allowed to, and they died alone. And so this is where we're at, a part of the lowering the frequency. And if you're a negative frequency, your immune system shuts down and you're more susceptible to health problems and death. 800 people in the old age homes died. Yeah, because they were isolated from their families, and so they gave up.
Exactly. They probably weren't getting that once a week. A bit of hope that there would be someone to come and see them the week after.
Yeah, and how much is a hazmat
give
suit?
Up like that.
Yeah, how much is a hazmat suit? And you can clean it. Why can't you have? I mean, it would look ridiculous, but at least you're in the same room, so you can feel the energy. Where you're in a hazmat suit. I mean, honestly, no, we can't do that. And it's just totally ridiculous. And you've seen the Victorian police do their thing, and New South Wales is doing that. I mean, they've called in the army, for the love of God.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That whole Barack Obama thing, public story, you could have kept it quiet as well. gagged everything and not
Well,
had
actually, no,
anything and just had a birthday. But it's like, here, I'll slap you in the face, public.
what's
Public.
her name? Jared Varian or something like that. I can't remember her, but I know the name. But she tweeted, "I'm going to this man's birthday tomorrow," and it's like, yeah, she got dumped on. It's like, yeah, 700 people, no social distancing or masks. It's like hypocrisy.
It's not cool.
Yeah.
But then it seems like the whole plan is to try and make people so upset that they'll revolt in a violent way to have an excuse to bring in a more draconian law and order state.
Yeah, but it's very well. They need an excuse because the way they're going, it's like we live in a free country. You're free to do what we tell you, and I mean, here the health medical officers in Australia, you don't talk to your family. Well,
where did she come from? Why are we relying on these state? I know they're in charge of the state, but
it's emergency powers because
they know less than myriads of levels above them.
What Star Trek did tell me is the captain is in charge of the ship, except for the doctor, who he's in charge of the health of the captain.
Right.
And so if you look at it that way, where Victoria, I'm totally aware of Victoria, just as the emergency powers start to run out of time, we seem to have small outbreaks so they can sign the emergency powers because they're trying to play by the rules.
I know, but state government is really the least of the least among the transitory powers that really just get into it for a pension and to try and make out with some insider tradings on any kind of land deal that's going on in the state.
The Commonwealth of Australia is
it's left to them to make their own interpretation of this stuff that's vague in the first place, and they try and look busy, and it's just stupid. Sorry.
Trying to look busy.
Well, see, the federal government technically it's the same thing in the United States. The federal government's there really basically to defend the borders, and then it's about state rights, and it's that federal versus state aspect where the Australian federal government does certain things, but the states have a lot of powers with certain, and that's why you have lockdowns just in one state and not across the entire country. Like the joke I have is like, when there's 3 cases in Melbourne and so Mildura and Albury have to shut down. It's the same logic of there was a car crash today in Perth, so we're banning all cars.
Right.
Yeah. Globally. Yeah.
Everybody's following to, the guidelines from the CDC.
Yes, which were fact-checked by Facebook.
Right.
Have they come out with anything recently? They've probably changed something recently, haven't they?
No, they change it every day, most likely. But that's what I found fascinating. They were fact-checked because CDC changed their narrative of like something like masks don't work or whatever. But it went against the Facebook narrative, and so they were fact-checked. It's like, how can you fact-check the CDC?
In a situation like this, would the CDC be abstained from or separated and from the Smith-Mundt Act, which is the Smith-Mundt Act is the act that was passed that let the U.S. government supply propaganda to their people, which is incorrect. It used to be the law that they could only do that to countries overseas.
It's one of those things where it should be brought up a lot. It's like, the media's lying to you. Well, there's an act of Congress that allows them to. How can you say that it's like...
Almost like they've got to hit quotas,
Like man-made climate change and chemtrails. It's like, would a government scientific body be exempt from that, or would they be the main people with the loudhailers? Well, I've had discussions with my dad, and at least they were cordial. Like it wasn't like game and upmanship. Like, oh no, you're wrong. But he did say, well, I'd rather trust the medical professionals. And I retorted with, well, which ones? The ones that are being banned, or the corporate funded ones that go along with the narrative of the government.
Yeah.
And also for everyone listening, if you want to have fun with people when you're talking to them about this kind of stuff, start with the question, do you trust the government 100%. Because you can keep going back to that.
Because no one does.
Yeah, so when you come to an impasse, but I'd be like, do you trust the government 100%? And it'll piss them off.
Ever been given any reason whatsoever to trust the government? Just one time. Just one example. One simple example that doesn't show that your government's MO is to basically double cross in every single deal it makes.
Yeah, make money.
Start a conversation usually by sneezing at the person.
Well, I was actually in the supermarket yesterday and a young child was coughing and I'm like, don't do anything. Don't do anything. But I mean, even before lockdowns, I was like, cover your mouth, man. Put your hand up, cough into your mouth. Like, Joe Biden did when he pulled down he coughed into his hand after he took the mask down. Thanks, Joe. You're
I had
special.
a dream about him as well, just real quick.
What is it?
Really?
I was going down in Providence, Rhode Island. Going down a little alleyway, and there was a Black Lives Matter group, right? And I was like, oh, God, I have to go by these guys, And I go by them, and I walk into my house. It's a dream, and it turns out that Biden is in there in the hospital bed, And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll go see him, see what's going on with him. And he's completely out of it. He's just talking gibberish.
So nothing new then.
Nothing more than that. No, just another day. And I sat next to him on the hospital bed, and I realized I was naked. So I grabbed a book and covered myself up, as a gentleman should.
What was the book?
While talking to George of the Jungle. And
oh, look at the size of his vine. Anyway, keep going. Yeah.
But he was just out of it, and it turns out as I'm leaving, I'm like, all right, Biden, later. And Black people, Black Lives Matter are outside, and it turns out they were Secret Service. So that was a dream. It was so stupid.
Speaking of gentlemen, I just reminded me of this joke. What's the difference between a banjo player and a gentleman?
What?
A gentleman doesn't play his banjo.
Now
for those who do like banjos, just put in accordion and it still works. Yeah.
What do you call a tortellini that you've never seen?
I don't know.
An impasta.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. What's the difference between cutting up an accordion and cutting up an onion? No one cries. No one cries when you cut up the accordion. Yeah. Nice little base level jokes there, but we're not to the gallows humor yet. But now, since we've got about 10 minutes to go, let's play the what if game and not prophecy, because that's a large word and I can't spell it, but let's project down the timeline in the next 4 months, because we're in August, ladies and gentlemen. Huzzah. And for those in the woo-woo / astrology, in 4 days, my time and Cortek time is the Lion's Gate. And if you want to find out more about that, just put in 88 Lionsgate spiritual and you can find it. Or if you just put in Lionsgate, you may find a production company or a movie house. Yeah, but it's astrology and it's interesting timing, especially after the full moon, and there's a new moon as well on the Lionsgate, and it's a Sunday, so it's a multiple stacking of like wow.
There's a lot of eights in there.
I know, and eights are like the affinity symbol is a tired 8. Because it's lying down. Yeah, but we've got 4 months left September, October, November, December. So yeah, we're in our 5th month.
Christmas.
Christmas, yes. What do you now? Astrology. Yeah, don't throw me. Don't throw me with a local reference there, Brandon. Christmas Island. What? How did he know about that? Guess when that was discovered. Anyway, moving on.
4 months. Yeah. Predictions.
Thursday,
really? Thursday Island. Oh, they found it on a Tuesday. Yeah, wacky. In September, the next 4 to 6 weeks, the astrology's sort of going, it's going to get wacky. But other people are kind of feeling it. Now, it could be just revelations, not the book, but just information coming out where you find out that Kamala Harris eats babies or something. But what
again?
Yeah, I know. It's like
Again.
I just can't eat one. Anyway. But like, it is what if. So you can go hog tie. You can, you could tell me the plot line to Avengers Endgame, because who knows? Anything can happen in 24 hours.
Can I work like little snippets of Die Hard 4 into it? Because no one remembers Die Hard.
Ooh.
Well, Kevin Smith is in that, so that's why. Yeah, but what do you like from a gut feeling, heart feeling? What? See, I don't know, because I'm just here to watch, so I can't really sort of see what's happening. But what do you see sort of coming down the pike, or what do you want to see? Cortek.
Cortek. Yeah.
I'd like to see it enter this whole thing that everyone would. I think it's just a big grab for money. I think it's a test.
Yeah, but how would that happen, and what would the fallout be, though?
Oh, there shouldn't be any fallout, really.
Really? So you don't think the politicians that confine everyone to their houses get away scot-free?
Oh, they always seem to, don't they?
Yeah, but I mean, we could try something different.
That's why they say that rope's cheap. That's why they say it. That's why. Yeah, I don't know. That's why they kind of got stupid-looking people in there like Biden. So it seems like, but he's just a goofy old man.
But is that part of a spiritual lesson of like, no, there should be an element of justice, and I'm a non-lethal aspect. I'm against the death penalty.
Exactly. Are we right to to be the judge of anyone, really?
Well, yeah, but Hitler did nothing wrong. And I'm sorry. Excuse me. I was
just referring to in terms of ending someone's life. That's all.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, there's enough plastic. Well, that's the thing. Like with Greta Thunberg, she won against another young woman that figured out how to break down plastic with enzymes.
I know. How's that?
Yeah, and it's like, see where the media. It's all narrative.
Organized media just needs to be chucked out.
Yeah, well, they need to expose. They need as Andrew Barr would say, a Baghdad Bob moment where during one of the Gulf Wars, this guy kept going on cameras like, "No, our fearless leader and the Republican Guard of mighty warriors are just crushing the United States, and the great Satan is losing." And he kept doing that. Yeah, well, I can't do an Iraqi accent. Yeah. See, Sith Lord. Anyway, he was doing that live on air, and like the American forces are running, and they are fleeing into the desert, just as a tank breaks through a wall right behind him. He shits himself and runs, and it's almost like the BBC with Building 7. Like, it appears that the Building 7 has collapsed. The one over your left shoulder that's still standing?
Yeah, in half an hour, Bob.
Yeah, that's 20 minutes early. And a gentleman in Scotland actually took the BBC to court because they were conspiring with terrorists because he didn't want to pay.
He didn't want to pay his cable bill. Yeah.
The TV license. And won.
Yeah, won the case.
Because it's like, well, I proved it. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Where I don't know if it's apathy or
it's a good point though.
Momentum, but
it's a good point. There would be a lot of healing if people were brought to justice in some way.
Yeah, but every time, like the Fauci emails, Fauci should have been removed just for that.
Yeah, it's like the rest of the world hasn't seen those or what?
But this is the level of control. This is the element of control, not level of control. The element of control where it's, the man with a stick doesn't care about your piece of paper. Oh, here's some footage of Bill Clinton raping a child. Oh well, coming up next.
Just another Tuesday.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like they ignore certain things and try and create another stuff, and people are either afraid of believing stuff or they're in their own bubble, which is not a negative thing. Yeah, as well. And so the whole COVID lockdown thing is waking people up. Even you can go back to Trump getting in. He was a catalyst. for people that love him and people who hate him, and people, most of us in the middle. He was just a catalyst. Like I don't think he'll go back. He had to go. No, that's your thing. But we're in the unknown.
Even if he came back to the office, you would understand that it would be under duress, and that there is level of control in there that was shown in 2020 that no one can get past anymore.
There's and also the poison the well in a certain aspect where a lot of people hate him, and so it would be counterproductive. Now, Brandon, in a minute, what do you see? What's going?
I foresee change.
I like it. I like it.
That's all for Planet Collingwood. No, all right. But
just use that as a seed, and that everyone else use their own imagination will be more powerful.
Right. Well, that too. But I also see the CDC and the BBC merging into the BDC, and they have your corporate media. I mean, you'll have the same thing. But it'll be
there'll be a TV show called Propaganda.
Really, I think people are just going to try to carry on. I think in the school system is going to be real challenging this year again.
Oh, the children.
Also, they'll be using the kids. They're doing that now with the vaccines and all that type of stuff. But there's that base element that people know. Like the majority of people know what's right, and they want to be left alone and live their lives and do no harm. And what's going on, it looks like, Cortek alluded to it, and it's my theory about the New World Order, that the higher-up evil dudes are letting these idiots run their game so they can lose. And so they're still in charge later on. And so you've got sacrifice of the morons, like, we need to kill 8 million people. The hell you are. Anyway, that's Planet Collingwood. You can find me on YouTube and everything else. Wait for the entertainment. Cortek can be found at his house, thanks to New South Wales politicians. And Brandon is out and about when he can. You've been listening to Planet Collingwood. Thank you, gentlemen.
Here you go.
Not sure what's coming up next, but you're on Revolution Radio. Thanks for listening, everyone. I love you from afar.